For today's video, I'm going to be using red heart yarn, a 5mm, some scissors, stitch markers, and a tapestry needle, and a little bit of stuffing. The stuffing is optional, it's just so the horns stay full and sturdy, but if you don't have stuffing, you can just use scraps or even make a little yarn ball and just put it in the horn. I'm going to start off by making a magic ring, and if you don't know how to make a magic ring, it's really easy. You just put your hands in an L shape, hold the yarn in the bottom, make an X, and once you see the X, you flip over and you're going to see two lines. You're going to put your hook underneath, grab the top, and twist. And now you're free to let go because it's secure, and then you're going to chain 2. 1 and 2. Now you're going to make 12 double crochets. This first one does not count. So we're going to yarn over, go inside the hole, grab the yarn, pull once, and pull twice. Yarn over, go inside the hole, pull the yarn, pull once and twice. I'm going to do this 10 more times and come back. After you finish your 12 double crochets, you're going to pull the tail and it's going to close it. And now you're going to slip stitch in the top stitch of the chain 2. So you're going to go underneath these 2 loops and slip stitch and chain 2. 1 and 2. For the second row, we're going to start increasing, so we should have 24 total. So I'm going to go twice in this first hole over here, and then you're going to put 2 double crochets in every single stitch. After you finish your second row, you should have 24 stitches. Now you're going to slip stitch again and chain 2. 1, 2. And now for this row, you're going to increase every other stitch. So you're going to do 2, 1, 2, 1. So in the first one, I'm just going to make 1. In the second one, I'm going to make 2. In the third stitch, I'm going to make 1. And then I'm going to continue this until I reach the end of my row. After you slip stitch and chain 2, for the fourth row, we're going to increase every 2 stitches. So again, I'm just going to make 1 double crochet in the first 2. And then I'm going to make 2 double crochets in the third stitch. For our fifth row, we're going to increase every 3 stitches. So I'm just going to go in and make 1 double crochet in the first 3. And then on the fourth one, I'm going to make 2 double crochets in the same stitch. For row 6, we're going to increase every 9 stitches. So I'm going to make 9 double crochets. After you do your 9 double crochets, you're going to increase on the 10th stitch. This will be our last increasing row, and once you finish this, row 7 through 12 is just going to be regular rows, and that's when I'm going to come back. You should have 12 total, and then you're going to try it on and put stitch markers for the width of your face and also the width of your ears. For my ears, I have 10 stitches in between, and in the front I have 19. I just made one of my ear flaps, so now I'm going to make the other side. And with the other side, we're also going to do a single crochet round to smooth everything out. For the loose ends, I like to split my yarn and put the hook underneath and then make a couple knots, and then it's safe to tie off. I'm going to add the yarn before the stitch marker, and I'm going to make a couple knots. After you make your knots, you're going to put the tail in the front, and now you're going to chain 2. 1 and 2. You're going to make 1 double crochet in the first stitch, and then you're just going to make double crochets until you reach the other side of the stitch marker. After you finish your 2 rows of double crochets, you're going to chain 2, and you're going to decrease. So you're going to make a double crochet in the first but not fully close it. Yarn over, go into the next, loop through, and you're going to have 3 loops, and then close it off. And now at the end, we're also going to decrease again. Since I only have 2 stitches left, this is where our decrease is going to go. So we're going to make our double crochet but not fully close it, yarn over, go into this stitch, pull twice, and then close it off. You're going to chain 2, flip your work, go into the first stitch and decrease, and then you're going to make double crochets and decrease again at the end. I have 2 stitches left, so I'm going to decrease one more time. Again, don't fully close it, and then go in for a second time, and then that's when you close it. And I'm going to do this, I think, 2 more times, and then I'm going to add the round part. I just finished my 6 rows on the flap, so for the last part I'm going to make 4 half double crochets, and since we don't have a middle, I'm just going to do it over here and just make 4 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I want to round it off a little bit, so I'm just going to go over here and slip stitch, chain 1, and you're going to make single crochets all around. Once you reach the round part, in the middle stitch you're going to add 3 single crochets, and this will just help it, again, round it off and give it a cleaner look. And you're also going to weave your tail as you go. You just put it in the front and crochet over it. After I finished doing my single crochet round, I added a braid in the ear flaps, and to do that I did 9 strips of about 30 inches, and it's perfect for me. It's not too long or too short, and you're going to feed this in through the little hole over here. I'm going to put my hook in, and I'm going to try to feed all this through, and I'm going to make sure that everything's flat and even and that nothing is cut up. After you do that, you're going to split it into 6, which is 3 in the front and 3 in the back, and then you're just going to start braiding. You're going to go over and under, over and under. You're going to continue this until you finish the braid, and then I'll show you how to tie it off. After you finish your braid, you're going to take your longest strand, you're going to loop it in the back and sort of try to tie it with the front, and this is just going to make it secure so you can do one more round of this. So I'm just going to go over and just tie it underneath, and then do like 2 or 3 knots over here. After you're done, you're going to have some excess, and what I did is I cut about 2 fingers, which is about 1 inch, and then I just kind of like give it a little haircut. And now both of our braids match, and they're about the same length. We are almost done. We just have to do another one of these and sew them on, and then we're fully finished. But I really like the width and height of this, but again, you can alter this to your liking. You can make it more skinnier and longer, or just whatever works best for you. We're going to begin with a magic circle, and then we're going to make 6 single crochets in the ring. After you do your 6 single crochets, you're going to do 2 single crochets in every single stitch, and then afterwards you can fully tie off the magic ring, and I'll show that once I finish this row. I finished the row, so I'm just going to pull this and make sure it's fully closed, and then I'm just going to tie it off. Now for the 3rd row, we're going to increase every other stitch. So I'm going to make 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and then 1 again, and continue this until you finish the row. Our 3rd row was our last increasing row, so from row 4 to 8 we're just going to do regular single crochets, and then we're going to decrease for our 9th row. I just finished my last row, so I'm going to take my stuffing and I'm just going to shove it right in, and now I can just start decreasing on my 9th row. This is a little bit hard to see, but I'm going to go in the back of the loop and make a single crochet but not fully close it, and then do the same for the other stitch. This is going to give it that outer border that we're going to use to sew it on to the hat. After you're done, this is what it should look like, and I also cut off a long tail. That's because we're going to fully close it off. So I'm going to take my sewing needle and I'm going to go straight through, and now I'm going to go to the next stitch and go diagonally, and I'm sort of making like a star in a way, and that's how I'm going to close the hole. Now I'm just going to make a quick little knot. After you make your knot, you're going to push the needle through to get rid of that loose end, and then you just cut off the excess, and now our little bumps are done, and all we have to do is sew them to the hat. Where you sew the little bumps really depends on you and your preference. As a reference, I did mine 3 rows up without counting the single crochet rows, so 1, 2, 3, and on the 4th one is where it's going to be joined. And I also did it like in between the face and the ear flaps. I put some stitch markers to help me keep it stable, but my reference point is above the 3rd row. So I'm just going to go in and out of every single stitch from the flared part of the bumps, because that way you have a more secure and a more stable bump rather than it kind of being floppy or just not with the right strength. Once I finish, I'm going to come back with the final result. This is the final result, and this is me and my little baby. She literally has no idea what's going on, but she's so cute and I love her so much. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next week.